proposed, we're on number 12, proposed resolutions, ordinance for adoption or enactment. We got on recommendation from general government. The general government chair is Supervisor Arcan. Do we need a first before we discuss it, I suppose? Do we have a
motion to bring it to the floor?
Okay, Supervisor Masters makes a motion. Do we have a second? Supervisor Warndall on resolution 4-20. Russ, no, that's second amendment, but it still went through general. You know, maybe before we talk about it, we would recognize Sheriff on this issue first. Would you please talk to us, Sheriff?
Thank you. Sheriff Rock here. Supervisor Masters wanted this several months ago, brought this resolution forward, asked if I would support this resolution, and I absolutely overwhelmingly support this resolution. You know, in the last couple months, COVID-19 has kind of consumed the entire nation. But I would just remind everybody prior to that, for the last couple of years, there has been an all-out attack on the honest, law-abiding citizens' gun rights in this nation. And this has been a trend that's gone around Wisconsin with this resolution that Mr. Masters brought forward. So, as the sheriff, you know, I submitted a letter to the committees. I believe it went to the general government and also public safety and highway. And on those committees of the one, we had a room full of people in support of this resolution. And for me as a sheriff, it's an honor to take people's constitutional rights and be a guardian of those rights. So this sends a message to lawmakers that the county strongly supports a person's fundamental right to keep and bear arms. So, thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. I will still recognize the chairman of the committee if he wants to allow Supervisor Masters to talk on the resolution. I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, I'll defer to Supervisor Masters.
Supervisor Masters,
Thank you.
the resolution.
I did author the resolution with the help of Corporation Counsel and Sheriff Rock. I want to thank them for their work helping me do this. I've had a lot of emails, phone calls, etc. regarding this matter. People are worried about the government taking away our rights. They bring up, it's a fundamental right. It's under the Second Amendment of the Constitution. Yeah, it may be a feel-good amendment, but again, like the CB amendment was, this is something that we need to do. We need to protect our rights as citizens of the United States that we have a right to bear arms. This starts with our citizens and protecting their rights. There always is going to be mental health issues. Like people say, people kill people, guns don't kill people. They may be determined that some people don't think like that, but I do. I know there's a lot of mental health issues out there, so those need to be taken into consideration. Laws are focused to on people that own them and not people who like to use them in a sport like hunting, target shooting, what do you call it? Clay pigeons, the gun clubs that have trap shoot. Trap shooting. Thank you. And there's a lot of issues that come up with this. And our government and our Congress is thinking about, doing a lot of laws that could affect our Second Amendment right. It's just a start. Even the red flag laws is just a start. They talk about these red flag laws. Well, that has to do with a lot under mental health issues. It shouldn't be a way to come and take our rights away to protect ourselves and bear arms. I don't really have anything else other than, I don't know who would enforce these red flag laws. It looks like the state. I've read a lot of H.R. 717 that has come out from the Congress. There's a lot of ambiguous and lengthy proposed laws regarding this that if you read it, like I did this afternoon, I'm like, wow. I mean, it's all over the place. No one can even follow it almost. But just like these CV-19 protocols. You know, it changes one day and changes the next day. But with these red flag laws, you never know what's going to happen. It's kind of the same thing I think is going to happen with that. So I support this amendment. I know there's 1,000 people out there that have emailed me and been part of this discussion with myself, and I would just recommend moving this forward to our board tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any questions? Supervisor Rowdy?
Mr. Chairman, this came out of Public Safety and Highway, and I'll let our chairman, Mr. Supervisor Luke, speak to that if he will, so I don't, you know.
Supervisor Luke, do you have any comments? How did it come out of your committee?
Got it. It came out without any recommendation. One of the big issues was the broadness of this particular resolution. I've been supporting the Constitution of the United States. First time I swore to that was in 1955, and I don't know how many times I've done it since. And I certainly believe in the Second Amendment of that Constitution. And however, there's a few things that I've never read in the Constitution. The body armor and things like that. I'm not sure why there are issues. I would assume there's something that's being potentially attacked by people that don't support or are worried about gun rights. So if this was simply to show our total support for the Second Amendment, I'd certainly concur wholeheartedly. However, with all of the additions to it, I think it's a political statement, and not that I disagree with some of these things, but I think, speaking for the calls and emails that I've received, they wanted to totally not support it, and I argued that issue on the fact that I can't not support the Second Amendment. However, I cannot support this resolution with all of the other issues involved in it.
Do you have, Supervisor Luke, do you have any recommendation to make an amendment that you want to remove certain parts or no?
No, I'm going to let it go as it is.
The way it's been drafted.
Right.
Supervisor Edgell?
Are we going? Yeah. I've got a little problem with it. First of all, I have guns. I have a .22, I have a couple shotguns, and I have a carbine. I don't remember the last time I fired them. But the problem I have is how are we doing? He says no.
Yes, green light.
Green's flashing.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to go with it. The problem I have with it is sanctuary. And I looked that up in the dictionary, and it's really a complicated explanation of what it is. 90% of the explanation is its religion. Now, how you put guns and religion together, I do not know. Thank you.
Supervisor Demling?
Okay, now, if this gets passed, the state and federal government, if they pass something against this, it don't make any difference. We have to abide by it anyhow, right?
I would direct that question to Corporation Counsel.
So because this resolution addresses the sheriff's constitutional authority, and he's already sworn an oath to the Constitution, if he felt like one of those laws that came down was unconstitutional, he would have a moral obligation to not enforce that unconstitutional law. Now, the other question would be whether or not other law enforcement agencies within the same jurisdiction, view that law the same way. But really, this resolution is simply underscoring the constitutional authority that already resides within the office of sheriff.
Thank you.
So, is this what you constitute a go-good resolution, Corporation Council?
I don't think that's a legal opinion or conclusion, but correct. It's a statement of policy and expressing what already exists within the office of sheriff, and I think it's making a case.
We're not making a new law. Supervisor Bonifay?
Yeah, I would thank Chairman Root for his discussion on that, because it was in our committee, but I was also being it wasn't with adoption from the general government. Can I ask Chairman Arcan if there was negative that we should be aware of, or the word outcome?
Arcan, do you have any comments?
Our committee vote was unanimous in favor of it, and we had probably 30 or 35 people that came to support it. Everyone that came supported it. I've gotten a couple calls on it. One that supported it but not as written, and then the other ones supporting it. So our committee was unanimous to support.
Thank you for that report.
Supervisor Rowdy?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Not to be negative against our committee, but it didn't come out of a unanimous that we didn't have some support, because I support this resolution, and I strongly support it, and I've had my grandson here since Sunday, and we're probably between 400 and 500 rounds that have been shot, and I haven't shot one. So I just want people to know that I support this resolution strongly.
Supervisor Olson?
If you show a plate, you don't get a mic either, apparently. But, yeah, I support it 100%. You know, it's a shame to think that somebody who legally owns guns could be arrested for having a gun in their house, which there's no shortage of them in mine. At some point down the road, when we can't seem to keep the true criminals off the street today. But, you know, if you're a law-abiding citizen who would happen to own a gun, I'm sure they could find a cell for you somewhere, even though they can't a true criminal.
Are there any other questions or amendments on this resolution?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Pritchard.
Richard? I was not on the General Government Committee at the time that it was considering this. I have a general aversion to the feel-good resolutions, and including this one. And I think the courts are the ones that ultimately interpret what the Second Amendment requires or doesn't require, and I'm willing to go by that. I haven't read in the local papers about any law-abiding citizens who've been locked up recently for gun violations, but maybe I'm not carefully reading the newspapers. I don't think there's a problem that I'm aware of, and I just want to be on record of why I'm voting against the resolution.
I call for the question. Roll call.
So we got a roll call vote requested.
Okay, roll call vote. So this is for adoption of resolution 420. Okay. Before you vote, so the audio is on. All right, Lang Answer.
Yes.
That was a no.
No. That was a no.
No.
Tim O'Connell.
Yeah.
Amy Mills. No. Steve Luke.
No.
Fran Hudson. No. Russ Arkan.
Yes.
John Bonner.
Yes.
Joe Stemmeling.
Yes.
Brad Olson.
Yes.
Doug Brody.
Yes.
Steve Mornhill.
Yes.
Tracy LeBlanc.
Yes.
Oh, and Chairman Nelson.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have 5 noes and 10 yeses.
So that resolution is adopted. Resolution